hesitation with revulsion.
"Never seen one still rooted," he murmured.
"What is it?" said Magdala.
"Used to be a man. He died, and the desert got inside him."
She was silent, considering this. Then she whispered, "Can I have some?" Javier was almost horrified.
"Be like cannibalism," he said, "wouldn't it?"
He seemed not to know the answer. Magdala fidgeted away from the question. "I'm so thirsty," she said, her eyes on the fruit.
"Listen, we can dig for water here. He's blooming, there might be moisture underground,"
said Javier. But his digging yielded nothing. The earth was parched. At sunset, he relented, and they gorged themselves. The scent and taste of the fruit made Magdala gag, but she ate until her belly swelled. Afterwards, Javier insisted that they walk away backwards. In the dark of night, she woke trembling and sick, her stomach reeling and her vision blurred. In spite of her shivering and weakness, she wanted to walk and never cease. Unsteadily, she rose to her feet. Javier was still sleeping, his gun beside him. The full moon throbbed before her eyes when she climbed the hillside, the track of her rubber sandal distinct beside the long divot left when she dragged her club foot. She walked through the night without direction or purpose, borne on by a kind of hunger which she felt not in her stomach, but in the heartbeat that galloped beneath her ribs. When her father caught her, she saw him as if through a veil. He was distant, hardly real. She could hear him saying her name, but somehow his cries did not really reach her. She woke only when he slapped her cheek, and then the hunger faded, but somewhere down deep, she could feel the sickness stayed.
"Should never have let you eat that,"
Javier said, crouching before her. Her stomach twisted as she tried to focus her gaze on him. His eyes were wet. Magdala wrapped her arms around his neck and buried her head in his shoulder, as much to console him as to console herself. She thought she had never seen tears in her father's eyes before. "I'm sorry," she whispered, and he drew back.
"It's not your fault," he said. "None of it, understand?"
But it was her fault. Not only the sleepwalking, but the rest. The fire from underneath the door, and the flight into the desert, and the desperate, stupefying thirst. He didn't know. They had gone 2 days in the desert, when they saw from afar the glistening mass of the town, a low, flat sea of glass and brick and corrugated tin.
"Could be uninhabited,"
Javier warned. But neither of them could resist hope. Magdala was still sickly and afraid to close her eyes in the desert for fear that the hunger to walk would come back. As they made for the road, they passed another of the many tendrilled creatures that was once man but now cactus, and Javier refused even to slow his pace. Late at night, he killed a gopher snake. They cooked the animal in the coals of their fire and shared it, sucking the moisture thirstily from the charred meat. Magdala knew as she ate that the snake meat would not stay down, that her stomach was hungry for something else now. But she held her breath and held her belly until her father fell asleep, and only then surrendered her meal back into the buffel grass, retching until she was breathless and weak. In the end, she had to be carried the rest of the way to the barbed wire barrier that surrounded the cluster of flat buildings. There, Javier stopped, set Magdala on her feet, and paced the fence line with the restlessness of a caged predator. Through heavy-lidded eyes, Magdala saw a man wearing leather chaps and a Stetson approach them from the other side. She did not see the gun he was carrying before he lifted it to his shoulder and aimed at her father.
"Weapons down and hands up," the man said. "You and your girl."
The words broke faintly through her confusion, and she understood their meaning, but not what they demanded of her. Only when she